The 49ers come out shorthanded on a Thursday night versus a contending Rams team, take them all the way into overtime, and get the win in Levis South. All right. Welcome back to another post-game 49ers edition episode of the Behind the Back podcast. Guys, 49ers are 4-1. And I'm going to be the first to tell you, I did not expect that to happen. And if you look at my picks for the week, if you look at Marcos's picks for the week, neither one of us picked the 49ers to win this game. And a vast majority of America didn't pick the 49ers to win this game. And why would they? When you look at this team and how injured they are, you've got 5 crucial starters on offense out with some form of an injury, whether long-term or in the short term. One of them being your most important player. On the defensive side, you've got Nick Bosa out, who is your most important player on the defensive side of the football. This team has been riddled with injuries since week 1. And I talked about, we gave a grade when Marcos and I, during our last episode of the main episode, we gave a grade for both of our teams up to, through the first quarter of the year. I gave the 49ers an A- for all the reasons that they put on display tonight. And how dare I doubt this team at any point based on what they've shown me through the first 4 weeks of the season. I gave them an A-, and in this game, guys, this was A+. I mean, coming off of last week, when you talk about this Jaguars game from last Sunday, just a few short days ago, every aspect of it was ugly. The offense looked off. The defense wasn't getting timely stops. They weren't taking advantage of the opportunities. I can't tell you how many times I talked about those missed opportunities, right? Special teams not able to make a play when it mattered. Today, all 3 levels of the 49ers made plays today at crucial times to get this win. This was a massive win, guys. I mean, when you just think about last season even, 49ers only winning 1 divisional game last season. So far, they've played their entire division at least once. They are 3-0. Sit back and take that in for a second. This team who has injury after injury up and down their roster, one of the most banged up, if not the most banged up team in football right now. They're 4-1 and 3-0 versus their division. They are atop the NFC West, which right now looks like the best division in football. This was an instant classic, and I'm going to start to break this down a little bit. It's Thursday night. I've got work early in the morning, and I've got to get all this off my chest, so it's going to be on the shorter side tonight. But guys, my enthusiasm will not be on the shorter side. To start this season, I've been pretty level-headed. We talked about how going into the season, I wanted this 49ers team to just grow. All these young players, these new additions to the team, you want to see this system and the retool effect really take shape. And these early wins, weeks 1 through now even, you've seen this team build this identity, this gritty mentality that they are never out of a ball game. They always give themselves a shot to win. They just beat a team that is contending for a Super Bowl. You ask pretty much anybody right now in the NFL, fan, analyst, team, they will tell you the Rams are contending for a Super Bowl. And the 49ers took them to overtime and got a win I call it the Rams house, but we all know it's really Levis South. And that 61% per vivid seats, dude, there were Niners fans up and down that place as usual. It was beautiful to see. So let's talk about that first half because there's a lot to break down. The biggest thing here was the fast start. And the fast start was something this team needed to have. The Niners had to come out hot. They had to come out punching. You couldn't come out sloppy like you did in the other starts, even with Mac Jones. You had to come out at the top of your game. And Marcos and I talked about it. You had to limit the mistakes, essentially play a perfect game in a lot of ways to give yourself a shot in this one. And at halftime, the Niners were up 17-7. And the Niners were controlling possession. They were controlling the flow of the game. Mac at halftime was 15 of 23 for 179 yards and 2 touchdowns. They were taking advantages of those opportunities early. The Niners get a fumble after the Corum Stafford handoff or a little shovel pass that, Corum just kind of took his eye off of it, and Niners jump right on top of it. So taking advantage of opportunities that come your way, getting down the field and getting points when you need to. I mean, you had to stack points. And in these games, this Sean McVay versus Kyle Shanahan rivalry that they've got going, I mean, you can call it that if you want. It's pretty one-sided, I think, at this point. Kyle Shanahan and Sean McVay know how to put points on the board against each other. And anytime the 49ers and the Rams play, there's always special plays. You always see these plays that are out of the norm. And there was a few of them on both sides where, you just don't often see these in other games, but you see them in these matchups. And this is a fun matchup every single time, a fun game. But the 49ers at halftime controlled this game, and they controlled the time. Everything was running through the 49ers the way they wanted to. So coming out of halftime, this is when the game kind of shifts. The 49ers do a good job on that initial drive for the Rams to get a stop. But as the third quarter kind of progresses, you see Kalia Davis go out with an injured hand on his birthday. So shout out to him, happy birthday, but bro didn't get to finish the game. That sucks. And we're going to keep an eye on that left hand. He was playing well so far in the game. He's been playing really well throughout the season. He's made timely plays. But unfortunately in this one, wasn't able to finish. And then Mac Jones starts taking shot after shot. And you're seeing, initially he gets, a little ruffled up, and he comes up a little limping. And then, it's handing off to Christian McCaffrey a few times. And you're seeing even him kind of struggle to get back there to CMC and struggle to make that handoff and execute it properly. He does it though. And then to cap off that drive, they drop him back in shotgun, and he just takes a shot from Byron Young. And this was interesting because Byron Young makes a good tackle, but he lands all full weight on Mac Jones. That is a roughing the passer 100%. That's called every single time if that's Patrick Mahomes. It's called every single time if that's anybody who, is anybody other than Mac Jones or Brock Purdy or Jalen Hurts or like that. That just simply gets called every single time. Not this time. It's not a fresh set of downs and half the distance. No, nothing like that. It's settle for a field goal and take the points that you get. Now, I'm going to tell you this. There was missed calls on both sides. The Niners got away with a face mask that should have been called on Matt Stafford. There was, ticky-tack stuff all over the place. There were bad calls at times. This was relatively decently called game. I don't believe that the refs were a factor whether the 49ers won this game or not. This game was won solely based on the play of the teams. And the second half, as it progresses, Mac Jones just takes more and more shots. But he continues to stay in the game. And guys, this is a tough spot because 49ers fans, we know Brock Purdy. We love Brock Purdy. Brock is an awesome player. He's a really great leader, a really great quarterback. We really believe that Brock Purdy can lead this team to the promised land, to that 6th ring. Mac Jones is stepping up. And I'm not going to lie to you, Kyle Shanahan trusts Mac Jones. And this is where I'm kind of battling myself a little bit. Because Mac Jones threw the football 49 times tonight. Let's wrap our head around that. Mac Jones threw the football 49 times tonight. He completed 33 of those for 342 yards and 2 touchdowns. That sounds like a damn good quarterback if you ask me. This is a guy who's on a 2-year contract, a very minimal dollar amount, fighting for his career right now because the opportunities that he's gotten have been the short end of the stick. And right now, this guy is proving that he's not just a starting quarterback in the NFL necessarily, but he's got more to prove. Mac Jones could be the real deal. Now, with throwing the ball 49 times, there is something to be said with how poor the 49ers are running the football this year. Christian McCaffrey on 22 carries, 57 yards. He averaged 2.6. That's below the average on the season, and that average was already so poor to begin with. So we're still seeing the 49ers run game just not exist right now. And I think a lot of that has to do with not having a guy like George Kittle, who's an exceptional pancake blocker. It has a lot to do with teams, early on, we're seeing some really good defensive lines. Jacksonville, really solid defensive line. The Rams, top 5 defensive line in the NFL, right? So you're seeing these teams kind of sell out to stop the run, and you recognize that tonight the 49ers, the only player offensively that they were utilizing consistently in this game was Christian McCaffrey, and he's the only player from last year to be in this game and playing offensively for the 49ers and making a difference. So this was a game that, from the Rams perspective, it's like, okay, Marquez Valdes-Scantling, Demarcus Robinson, Kendrick Bourne, okay, we could probably afford to sell out and stop the run here, just like, other teams have, and force Mac Jones and this wide receiver group who may not have a ton of experience together and may not have a ton of time under Kyle Shanahan to beat us through the air. They did that. They really did that. Welcome back, Kendrick Bourne. 10 receptions, 142 yards, no touchdowns. He almost broke away in that first half on that play from Mac Jones. It was close. It could have gone the distance, and I thought it was going to, but exceptional game. And that was his career high, just really setting a tone early on. When you look at the receiving yards, Christian McCaffrey, I just talked about how he can't run the football. Well, going into this game, he was 8th in receiving yards in the entire NFL. And he has 82 more yards for 8 receptions to add on to that. And a touchdown through the air, by the way. So while Christian McCaffrey as a running back it doesn't seem like that's working right now based on whatever, I just talked about it. Christian McCaffrey is, as a wide receiver, Christian McCaffrey as a dump-off option is always going to be fantastic. And it's always going to work. And you're seeing that. Mac Jones, though, I'm going to be honest with you. Like, this quarterback debate is going to get spicy as this kind of progresses. Brock Purdy's injury is described as worse than originally reported and anticipated. So, the 49ers have 10 days off before they play Tampa Bay in Tampa Bay. 10 days is a lot of time. That's a good amount of time to rest. There's still a pretty good question whether Brock is even going to be available to play in that game. Now, at the end of this game, I'm going to get into the final bits here and then overtime. At the end of this game, Mac Jones didn't look good. And I'm not talking about his play. I'm talking about his physical nature as a human being. He didn't look good. He looked like he was beaten up down the stretch of this game. He looks like that knee was really beaten and badgered. It looks like he took kind of a shot, maybe got the wind knocked out of him towards the end there right before the field goal in OT. So we're going to keep an eye on his status, because otherwise you're running into a situation similar to 2022 where you're really low on quarterbacks. So keep an eye. We're going to talk about it as the week goes on. Or rather next week. But Mac Jones, man, playing for his career right now and playing out of his mind. Brock, I can tell you right now, I don't have the numbers, but Brock Purdy's never dropped back and thrown 49 times. But at the same time, Brock Purdy hasn't been a part of a system yet that genuinely just couldn't run the football. And so far this season, he really just hasn't been available that much. He's been injured and he's been banged up. So, asking him to throw the football 49 times is a lot different than asking a guy like Mac Jones. Now, Mac Jones, He's got the size to sit behind the offensive line and wheel and deal all day. Purdy is a little bit different. You see Purdy have to roll out of it and create his own space and his own windows to make some of these elite passes that he does. And these are the things that he does at an elite level. But when he's got a toe injury, when he's got banged up, something at the lower end where he, in his lower end of his body, he isn't able to roll out as effectively, and he's not able to make some of these throws. And that's why you saw him hanging out in the pocket against Jacksonville a little bit too much, a little bit more than anticipated, and you want him to see. And he ended up getting hit, right? And just, the mistakes that he made, all of them from the pocket, it was a tough game. Mac Jones can sit back there. He's over 6 feet tall. He can sit back there. He can wheel and deal over that offensive line all day long. And the offensive line today did a really good job giving Mac Jones time to throw in general. Now, down the stretch of this game, I talked about Mac Jones getting hurt off that Byron Young hit. Later, Yetur Gross-Matos goes down for the rest of the game. D. Winters goes to the locker room for a shoulder. He does end up coming back and finishes the game. But the Rams go down. They score a touchdown. And it's 20-20. Jordan Elliott. Now, something's going on with the Rams because Jordan Elliott gets his paw on that football. And that extra point is no good. And that keeps it a tie game. This is massive because this game went to overtime. The Rams have a kicking problem, and it's nice to see that it's not the 49ers who have the kicking problem right now. It's a division rival who has that problem. We saw it against the Eagles. Eagles fans know what this is. Like, this was pretty fun to see, especially for Jordan Elliott and just on the Niners side of things for our special teams to actually go out there and make a play like that. It's really promising. So Jordan Elliott forces that extra point to be no good. It's a 2020 ball game. Enter Eddie Dinero Pinheiro from 59 yards. I really liked Jake. I did. But Jake Moody never would have made that field goal. And I hate to bring him up in this case, but I'm sorry, with how many times we watched Jake, I guess Kyle Shanahan ram Jake down 49ers throats in a lot of ways with his poor kicking and just consistently saying, yeah, he's our kicker, he's our guy. We got confidence in him. I get it, but dude, this is what a good kicker looks like. We haven't had a good kicker since Robbie Gould. So Eddie Pinheiro making that 59-yarder and putting the Niners up 3 was a massive turning point in the game. Now, with that being said, the Rams went down the field with ease on the 49ers, and they continued to do that throughout the second half. And I think the defense was getting tired. Again, they were getting beat up. You had some of these injuries with Kalia Davis, with Yetur Gross-Matos, with D. Winters, obviously D coming back, right? But you had guys getting beat up, and I think it was starting to kind of wear on them. Now, with that being said, at the same time, one of the things we talked about, this wide receiver group for the Rams is as elite as it gets. I think there's absolutely an argument to be said that they are the best wide receiver core in the NFL. So they went down the field with ease and had a chance to win this game with a touchdown late. And rookie Alfred Collins makes a play on Kyron Williams on the goal line, punching the ball out, forcing a fumble, saving what would have been a touchdown. Exceptional play. You talk about that next man up mentality. You talk about making plays and leaning on your young guys. Alfred Collins, I was excited about him when we drafted him. Just a big body, a guy who's on the defensive line. He's got a lot to learn, but he is promising, and he was promising. And he's shaping out so well. And making a play like that, saving the game, it reminded me so much of the Dre Greenlaw hit versus the Seahawks on the goal line to save that game. And mind you, the 49ers just punched Christian McCaffrey into the wall 3 times and then kicked it out and let the Rams, essentially, Kyle said, okay, I'll just let you get the ball back and maybe our defense will make a play. Hopefully our defense makes a play. Otherwise, we go to OT. The Rams, again, had a chance to go win the game. Held them to 3 points. We go to OT. In overtime, Mac Jones, broken and badgered, goes down the field 5 straight times, completes for first downs and big play opportunities, at least medium distance opportunities. And he takes the sack, gets a little beaten up, and from there the drive kind of stalls out. And Eddie Piñeiro comes out and knocks down another field goal. He squeaked this one in. He squeaked it in. I mean, it hit the post and stayed going good, but it was close. Nonetheless, knocked it down, puts the Niners up 3. They understand the overtime rules now. It's not the Super Bowl. And the Rams have a chance to go down and win the game. They get massive completion down the field to Tutu Atwell. You're like, crap, like, this doesn't look good. But on the other high side of it, you're like, hey, 49ers played a hell of a game with all these injuries. Like, what happens, happens. This is going to be a good conversation. And then the 49ers just tighten up and make plays when it matters most. This was such a fun game to watch. And, I got to credit. We talked about going into this game, some of the keys. And one of the keys I had was, this scheme defensively needs to be good. Scheme offensively needs to be good. Everybody needs to be locked in. Like, you can't have any mistakes. And the 49ers did all those things. They had dialed up the right schemes. They didn't make a lot of mistakes. I mean, really hardly any. They capitalized on the few errors that the Rams made. And the 4th down stop that the 49ers made to put this game away in overtime, that was 49ers football. 4th and 1. Kyron straight up the middle. And the 49ers just rally to the football as usual and stop it behind the line. Game. What a game. What a freaking game, and what a season this has been so far. Now, let me talk a little bit about these team stats. 74 rushing yards for the 49ers, not great. 78 rushing yards for the Rams. Look, Kyron Williams and Blake Corum are good running backs. Now, Blake only got 1 carry in this game, but Kyron, he's a good running back. And the scheme that they have around him, I mean, you got to account for the receivers at all times. He has those big play opportunities just based on the offense he's a part of. 49ers did a really good job containing that and forcing Stafford to beat them. Now, when you look at Stafford in his game, he threw the ball 47 times, completed 30 of those, 389 through the air, and 3 touchdowns. No interceptions. Threw the ball into harm's way a couple times, so did Mac Jones. Mac really only had like one really bad throw, and that was the one that arguably should have been picked off, but it wasn't. Rams didn't capitalize on their opportunities. That was the 49ers last week. So both quarterbacks really locked in for this game, and they showed up for their team. And when you look at the receivers for the Rams, you expected this to happen. Devontae Adams, 88 yards. Puka Nacua, 85 yards. That's your NFL leader. Tutu Atwell, 72. Kyron Williams, 66 through the air. So Kyron has over 130 yards. Basically 131 yards all purpose. Kyron played a fantastic game. Now, the fumble, that's tough. Like, the fumble was tough. Not getting that first down, tough. But these are the plays the 49ers make when it mattered most. So, dude, it just like this game, both teams really locked in. The 49ers owning the possession, the time of possession. They had 40 minutes with the football to the Rams 26. Now, the penalties are something the 49ers need to work on. They had 8 of those for 44 yards. Some of them were frustrating again, and it was timely things. It's like, come on, guys, let's just lock in a little bit more. But the 4th down conversions, the Niners went 3 for 3. On 3rd down, they were 7 of 18. You want to see them do a little bit better on 3rd down, but they had a lot of 3rd and 1s. They had some 3rd and shorts, too, that they were just pounding CMC into that brick wall, and he wasn't going anywhere, right? So, again, this run game, they asked Brian Robinson about it. They've asked players all over the 49ers. They've asked the coaching staff. They keep saying the same thing, the same theme, which is, it's going to break. It's going to break open. One of these runs is going to break open, and the whole thing is just kind of follow in suit. When? I I love I love a quarterback who throws a ton, but 49 times means there's a problem with your run game. And yeah, it's something to be said too with how much possession you had. Sure, I get that. But I promise you, if this run game was working any bit better, Mac probably throws 42 times. So I want to see this 49ers offense figure out this run game because they're going to need it as the season goes on. You have Brian Robinson, you have Christian McCaffrey, you have guys back there who are going to make plays, and you're going to get more health as the season goes on. But all in all, guys, like, I can talk about the run game all I want. That's the only negative there is to talk about, aside from the injuries. This team played fantastic today, and they eked out a win that either way you could have been okay with, with the result, but going 4-1, missing as many pieces as you do. Now when you talk about the timeline for these 49ers, George Kittle could be back versus Tampa. We'll keep tabs on that. We'll talk about that next Thursday when the episode drops. After that, you're going to see when Brock Purdy returns. The timetable for Malik Mustafa opens up soon. The timetable for Brandon Ayuk opens up soon. And the Niners are 4-1. Like, it's just win, baby. Like, this is 49ers football. I'm cheesing right now. It feels good. Let me get to my game balls and let's call it quits for the night, guys. So, first game ball, Mac Jones. All the reasons I just said. Fantastic game, stepped up. He knows his career, I can't say is on the line, but he's playing for his career. He's playing for his money. He's playing for his role. He knows he's going to get a role at some point now based on the play that he's putting out there. All the play he's putting on tape is quarterback one level play. And he's making an argument for elite level quarterback. It's going to draw questions whether it's the scheme. I get it. I think the scheme absolutely plays a part in every single quarterback's success. So saying that, well, Mac Jones and Brock Purdy just benefit from the scheme, it's like, I don't get that. Okay, so does Patrick Mahomes. So does Josh Allen. You can do this with a lot of the quarterbacks with exceptional coaching staffs who make schemes that work really well around their quarterbacks. For Kyle Shanahan to do this around two quarterbacks, pretty crazy. Love Kyle. So first game ball goes to Mac Jones. Second one, Alfred Collins. He saved the game. Let's call it how it is. I understand that the Rams got the ball back again, but that was a touchdown. The 49ers would have had less than a minute with one timeout. That would have been game, barring a miracle, right? So Alfred Collins just making that play on Kyren Williams on the goal line. Again, Dre Greenlaw-like. It was fantastic. And again, another rookie just stepping up in a massive role, making a massive play. Love to see it. Last game ball. Welcome back, Kendrick Bourne. 142 yards, 10 receptions. The Mac and Kendrick connection from New England lives on. It was fun. This was a fun game. I'm grinning, I'm cheesing from cheek to cheek. This is a great night. And now to know, there's two great things here. 49ers get 10 days of rest. And for us 49ers fans, we go into Sunday now already having put our game on the shelf. We got the win, and we get to watch stress-free football all Sunday long. You just can't ask for a better situation. So guys, I appreciate you tuning in. I said this was going to be a shorter one, but I'm hyped. I'm excited. It's ended up being a 30-minute freaking post game. Appreciate you guys as always. Links to our socials are down below in the description, guys. Hit us up, behind the back pod13@gmail.com. Send us an email. Shoot us with some questions. We can absolutely talk about those on the pod. Guys, subscribe to us on YouTube. Drop a like on this video. If you haven't listened to our main one from this week, go ahead and give that a listen. Marcos makes some solid points on the Eagles game. I talked about this one. You can see my lack of faith in this 49ers team as I was talking about it. And just, again, fantastic game, fantastic night. But as always, guys, I've been Benny the Jet. Appreciate y'all. Peace.